Hello everyone. In this session, we'll explain about command line runner and the different ways of implementing it or use it in a Spring Boot. So this command line runner interface basically in a Spring Boot, it's a powerful tool that basically designed to run the specific code after the application startup. It provides simple way to execute code at applications startup, making it perfect for tasks like if we want to seeding a database, or maybe if we want to initializing some settings or running a batch jobs. So in this time we can use this command line runner. Implementing the command line runner in is very straightforward, like it's very easy. We don't need to do anything, like just simple few steps we need to follow. We just need to create one class which will implement this command line runner interface, and this, but if we want implement this interface, then we need to override one run method. Inside this method we can access command line arguments which will perform the desired logic. This is especially useful for automating some repetitive tasks or for maybe testing purpose. Remember, the run method will be executed once the application context is loaded, allowing you to ensure that all the beans are ready to go. So if you are looking to automate tasks or initialize data on startup in your Spring Boot applications, the command line runner interface is the way to go. So this is about this command line interface, that command line runner interface. So this interface in Spring Boot basically, when any class is implementing this interface, so then automatically the run method will be actually loading after the application context. Usually we use this command line runner to perform some that I mentioned, that startup tasks like database initializations or startup activities. So if we want to go with the sequence that how this command line runner basically works, so once the application will start, then Spring Boot initialize and configure beans, properties, and the application context. Command line runner or the application runner methods are then executed. This is the application now ready, like our whatever the things will come, that will come later on. So now we will talk about the different types of ways of implementing this command line runner. Before that, I just want to mention one point over here. This Spring Boot runner interface is coming from this org Spring Framework boot dependencies that is used to quickly boost up the Spring Boot applications, right? And it's having the one run method that we need to override. So now if we going through the implementing this command line runner, so for that we need to create one Spring Boot project, obviously. So for creating this project, I have already created this Spring Boot project over here and import in my Eclipse editor. You guys can also create this project and import into your favorite Eclipse editor. So for implementing this, let's say we want to create one component layer, component bin, that implement this command line runner interface and override the run method. Okay, so now let's say if we want to initialize the database, like maybe in our database, let's say one table is having, let's say, customer. Okay, now initially when the application will start, then we need to insert some dummy data or some basic data inside of this particular table. So how we are going to implement this one? So let's say here we can create one application, we can create one we can create one class over here. Let's say uh, data initializer. Okay, data initializer. So we need to annotate this particular class with component or maybe service layer, whatever we can say. So we need to annotate component annotation. Okay, so once we will implement this one, edit this as a component annotation, then we need to implement command line runner interface. Okay, this interface. So once we have implemented this interface, then it will ask to override the run method. So if you see over here, the type data initializer must implement the inherit the abstract method, that is the run method. Okay, so we need to implement this method, and here we are going to write all the things over here. So let's say we are going to add some like data into the customer table. So for that we need to create one entity class over here. Let's say we need to create one class that is called customer, and we need to use some, let's say it's a entity. Okay, entity. Then here we are going to defining some fields like private, long, id. I'm not going to like add more details over here, just to demonstrating string name, or let's say string address. Okay, so these three field I'm for the timing I'm keeping over here. Okay, and here we need to like add this field as id. This will be the unique identification of this particular table, and then generated values also we need to, generated column we need to add over here. So here generated value, which will, what it will do, it will basically like generate the value for this particular id automatically. We don't need to maintain anything over here. Like suppose like the unique id, it will be unique for all the rows, right? So it will automatically generate. The strategy will be, the strategy equals to generation type. Here we need to provide dot identity. Okay, so this will automatically take care all the things. So now we just need to create the getter and setter. From here we can generate this getter and setter over here. Okay, so now it is ready. Okay, so what need to, in the inside of this run method, what we need to do? Okay, before going to that, we need to create another interface. Basically we need to create one repository. So let's say it's a customer repository. Okay, this is one interface, and here we are going to extends JPA repository. Okay, and we need to use this table customer, and id will be long. Okay, this is will be the primary key data type. Okay, now here we need to like inject the bean of the customer repository, private customer repository. Okay, and using this we are going to, what basically we are going to do, we are going to save the record for the customer. Okay, means we are going to, when the application will start, then it will basically insert some record, some dummy record inside of the customer table. So using this repository we are going to save the record. So here we need to pass this customer, like, or what you can say, we can create one customer object over here, cust equals to new customer. Okay, and here we need to like set the name and the address. Okay, dot set address dot set name. id will be auto generated, so that's why we are not adding anything over here. Okay, let's say dummy data. Okay, and name will be test. Okay, and here we need to pass this customer. Means what it will basically do, once the application will start, then it will actually save this data into the customer table. We can put some kind of like sysout over here so that we can understand, like data initialize successfully. Okay, or just initialize. Okay, so now like if we start this application, okay, if you like might be like thinking that how I'm going to use this repository, I'm going to use this entities and all those things, where I'm going to save the data. So for understanding this one, I have defining all the properties MySQL related. I am using the MySQL database over here, as you can see. So I've created one schema like basic tutorial over here. As you can see, this is root and password that you need to define, and this is the JDBC driver. So this is the where this customer table auto created, and here I am not creating this table basically manually. So what it will do, these properties I have defining over here, that spring jpa hibernate ddl auto, what it will do, whatever the entity it will find over here, it will automatically create into the database. So now if I will show you the database over here. You can see this basic tutorial. Here you can see that table is empty over here because now it is not actually created any table. Now if we start this application, then it will actually execute this data initializer and insert some record into this particular table. So if we can how we are going to start this application, from over here we can start the application. So once it will start, then it will automatically generate the table inside of this schema basic tutorial. Okay, so let it start. Once it will start basically, then it will started soon, start completed. Okay, as you can see that it started in 880 port. Okay, 880 port. Okay, so here you can see that Tomcats, that application got started. This is the application started printing some that is printing over here. That application got started, and database initializer also it should Tomcat initialize. Okay, now if we open the database over here, let's say that customer got created over here, right? Customer table got created over here, and also you can see that these two data got inserted over here with address and the test data and ID auto incremented, right? Okay, so in this way, as you can see that this is basically in this way basically this is worked. Now should, as you can see that data initialize, that is also print over here. Okay, that is also got printed over here. So this is one of the options that how we are going to use this command line runner. There is another option that also I will explain over here. Another common way is to make this Spring Boot application class implement this command line runner. So this is the application class that where we have used this Spring Boot application annotation. So this is the main entry point class of this one. So here also we can implement this uh, command line runner interface. Okay, here. So once we have implement this, then we need to implement this unimplemented class over here. And here also we can take the same approach, like we need to auto this custom repo over here. Okay, and then like we can add this some method over here. Okay, that also we can achieve over here. Let me for the timing, let me like commented this code. Okay, so now if we run this application, then you can see that another record will be inserted. You can see that data initialize is over here, and you can see 2-3 record inserted over here, right? This is the second record. So that is coming from over here, like that we have currently implemented over here. So this is also another options to like initialize this one. As you can see that this data initialize occur from here also. We can achieve the same thing we can from here also. Another options, like it is also very common, like to annotate the command line runner interface, that is something with @bin. So Spring will means we will also run the code during the startup of the application. So how we are going to doing this one? So instead of this basically like maybe we are not going to implement this command line runner interface over here, so we are not going to use this method, we are not going to override this method. But instead of that, what we can do, we can create one bean of this command line runner, right? So let me create one bean over here, bean annotation, and here we can like public, then it will return this command line runner interface, and let's say like run or something start. Okay, then here, so what it will return, basically it will return like return args. Okay, and here we are going to defining these methods. Okay, we need to, we are going to use this one. Okay, like this. Okay, this one. So this bean is created over here, and we are going to like doing the same logic over here also, just like inside of this bin. Okay, now if we like start this, you can see that data initialize, and again if we see over here, you can see another record got inserted over here. So these are the like three options that how we are going to like implement or use this command line runner for doing some kind of the initialize the database, or maybe we can do any other logic also if we want to like do some configurations kind of things, loading some configurations, all the stuffs. So that also we can achieve over here using this command line runner interface. Okay, so this is all about this command line runner tool, that how we are going to use this one. This is just like just to summarize, we need to create one Spring Boot applications, so and then we need to like implement this command line runner interface. This particular command line runner is having one in methods, actually abstract method, that is the run method. We need to override this method, and over there we are going to write all the logics, related logics over here. So I hope it's clear about this command line runner. I will add this code in the GitHub repo so that you guys can access this, and also share the link in the description section. I hope it's clear now. That's all actually about this command line runner tool, actually details about it. And don't forget to subscribe my channel. Please press the bell icon for further notification. Thanks for your time. See you in my next videos. Bye bye.